North Korea's leader Kim Jong Un is in Russia this morning for talks with Vladimir Putin over a potential weapons deal. So the Kremlin has confirmed the meeting will take place in the Far East. They have not disclosed the exact location. The two countries could agree to help one another with the impacts of heavy Western sanctions. So Tina Park is an expert of global affairs in the Asian-Pacific region and CEO of the Park Group. She's in studio with us this morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
So what do you expect to be on the agenda when these two leaders meet face-to-face?
What we expect to see, Anne-Marie, is a number of things. First is a potential arms deal between North Korea and Russia, and most likely North Korea exporting arms, ammunitions, and even, soldiers, as well as technology that may be useful for Russia with their war in Ukraine. It's also possible that they will discuss lifting some of the sanctions that North Korea is currently under, because Russia is very desperate to do a deal with North Korea at the moment, and I think they are mutually looking for a solution for what's happening in Ukraine.
Yeah, both Russia and North Korea already are facing heavy sanctions themselves from the U.S. and other Western countries. The U.S. State Department saying that anyone caught providing arms to Russia would face additional penalties. We know that. So why would Kim Jong Un believe that closer ties with Russia will be a help to his regime?
Well, we know that North Korea has been under a progressively severe set of sanctions for the last decade, but none of it has actually worked in terms of stopping North Korea from developing nuclear weapons or slowing down any of their military development. So at this point in history, North Korea is looking towards Russia for some help with satellite technology, for instance, and really rekindling the relationship that they once had. In the recent past, North Korea was doing a lot more business with China. But at this point, North Korea has a lot to offer that may be of interest to Mr. Putin, and they would like to, do a deal where both parties could benefit from the current situation in Ukraine.
This meeting today is just one in a series of high-profile meetings Putin's been having. Russia's been trying to strengthen this new alliance since the beginning of the war in Ukraine. And just to remind everybody, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Moscow in March. In July, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu visited Pyongyang. And Putin hosted a summit with 17 African leaders, and then he just met with Turkish President Erdogan. So what does this series of meetings tell you about Putin's possible strategy?
Well, I think it shows a serious sense of desperation on the part of Mr. Putin and Russia, and how the war in Ukraine didn't unfold the way they had expected. They're under a lot of economic pressure at home, and they're also seeing that the Western response to the war in Ukraine has been unprecedented. We've seen a great deal of solidarity among NATO allies. They're seeing that there's no real easy way out for Mr. Putin. So I think with Kim Jong Un and North Korea as, allies, they would potentially like to, revamp what they've been doing and really strengthen their military efforts in Ukraine.
And what does that mean for Ukraine?
I think there is a lot that needs to be done in Ukraine for recovery and reconstruction. Beyond the current war, even if we were to reach some sort of a ceasefire, rebuilding the country will take decades. And I think it's really unfortunate that the people of Ukraine had to suffer for so long and so severely what, Mr. Putin and Russian regime entered without fully understanding the repercussions and the effects that it would have on the humanitarian side of Ukraine and Ukraine's future.
Yeah, given the fact that North Korea is already under such heavy sanctions, what's the win in this meeting for Kim Jong Un?
For Kim Jong Un, it's an opportunity to make a lot of money, I think, and also potentially get some technology that may be of use for North Korean regime. He is traveling with his top military aides, one of which is the director of munitions, and another guy is in charge of satellite technology. So he is bringing his, top aides for defense industry in North Korea, and they've been struggling. We look at the state of North Korea, where over 70 million people are starving every day, and yet they are making a rapid progress with their nuclear weapons, and they are still very much an isolated regime. And what we see with Mr. Putin and Mr. Kim is that two leaders are finding themselves in a similar situation, in a large deal of isolation and desperation, and they're getting together to see if they could help each other out.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah.
Exactly.
Tina Park, great to have you here today.
Thanks very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.